Today's leg of Rugby starts with a change in pace from yesterday. In Salisbury and Stonehenge, everything was very peaceful, very calm, very still. And today, I'm in the bustling city of Bath. Now, Bath is a very historic city in the UK. Lots of people come from all over the world to visit for its historic architecture, the Roman baths, and the fact that this is a World Heritage UNESCO site. So I'm here to see what all the fuss is about. So I've arrived at the second place that I'm staying at, which is a converted loft in a workshop in Bath. Before I go in and show you what it's like inside, I just want to show you outside, and you'll see the reason why I chose this spot. So here's the workshop. This is where the host Pedro, who's been a great host, does his work. Here we can see the ensuite bathroom downstairs. Has everything you need. Shower, toilet, sink. And then these very steep stairs that take you into the bedroom. Like I said, it's a converted loft. There's only really space for a double bed, a desk, and a couple of side tables. But that's everything that I need. Now, coming out into nature like this gives me space and time to reflect, and I'm going to entertain a perspective that I don't usually allow myself. From the outside looking in, it could be argued that taking Amrit was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. If you look at my life 11 or 12 years ago, before my journey into Sikhi began, I was working as a journalist, a business journalist in central London. I had a really good job. I was living in a trendy part of central London, and I had a really thriving social life. I was always out, always going places, going to parties, press events, clubs, bars, and also travelling a lot as well. Every month or other month I would be going somewhere abroad, and from the outside looking in, it looked like I was really living my best life, but nobody could have really known how unfulfilled and unhappy I was inside. But fast forward to today, I've been Amrit for 10 years now, and from some perspectives, it's really gone downhill. When I first came into Sikhi, I had problems with my health, and I was in and out of hospital for several years. At one point, I was in hospital for 3 months, and I underwent several life-threatening operations and ended up with a stoma bag for 3 years. And recovering from that wasn't only about recovering from the physical aspects of it and what it did to my body, but also the mental aspects, the psychological impact that it all had on me as well. Then look at my career. I left my career path behind, and I've taken a career break, and I'm currently working with young people, which I really enjoy. But all of my skills, experience and qualifications are in media, and I'm not entirely sure yet how and when I'll go back to that, but it does look like that's on the cards. I love making content like this. I would love to do this for a living, but figuring out how to make it sustainable is a question that I have to yet discover. Then look at my social life. Coming into Sikhi, I have met many people, some of whom are really beautiful souls, really nice people, just not my people. And sometimes you have to find out where you don't belong before you find out where you do. And that is something that I've been going through lately. That's been a part of my journey. And then finally, relationships. Even when I was in my early 30s, before I shucked Amrit, I was single, I wasn't married. And now 10 years later, being Amrit for over 10 years, I'm still single. And I've changed a lot. The person that I am today is almost unrecognisable from the person I was 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. And this journey that I'm walking, this path that I'm walking is very narrow. So realistically, finding somebody who can share this path with me, can accompany me and be a part of my life, be a part of my world, that pool of women is also very narrow. So if you were to look at the world through career, social life and relationships, you could argue that being blessed with Amrit was the worst decision I've ever made in my life. Now let me make one thing perfectly clear. I don't have any regrets about taking Amrit. In fact, being blessed with Amrit is the single greatest thing that has ever happened in my life, that could ever happen and that will ever happen in my life. And I say that because the man that I am today is one that I respect a lot more than the man that I ever was before. Not because I'm perfect, I'm not. Not because I don't have flaws, I have many. And on this journey, it's like God has been holding up a mirror to me and showing me those flaws, identifying them and challenging me to work on them. For example, one of the things that was revealed to me is that I'm a people pleaser. I would put other people's needs before my own. And I thought that was something that made me noble, that made me compassionate. But really it's not. It's something that made me a coward. I was too afraid to go after what I really wanted. and that was revealed to me, and I was given a choice. Either ignore it or do the work, fix it, and heal myself. And one by one, all of these flaws that I didn't even know I had reveal themselves to me with that same choice. You can either ignore it or do the work, heal yourself. And really, that's the one thing about this path that is so special. The relationship that I have with God. Before I became spiritual, before I started walking this path, if God was a voice in my life, it was a very faint whisper that would reveal itself very rarely, only a few times ever in my life. And now I can see that Maharaj is unsung, closer than my own limbs. And that same presence that took me away from that partying lifestyle, the drink and the drugs, that's still guiding me today. And this relationship with Maharaj is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced in my life. So no, I don't have any regrets about being blessed with Amrit. It's the single greatest thing that's ever happened to me.